This is Gerald Johan van Waas at the educational channel of demonstrations. Related with sounding form, a theory that you can find also in the book form, and the theory is separated in the development of the word. It is a theory with which to interpret letter combinations in words, and there is it is quite strange that letters can be changed into forms in a way as if it always was meant as it were. It is a natural method because we associate unconsciously with the letters with certain formation, with certain processes and certain directions in time and space. There's a whole theory behind it, but in these videos I only demonstrate results of specific words and letter combinations, and I'm not talking about the proof, but I'm just talking about the results. Let's just enjoy what I have, and let's check the combinations of words with B, with the sounds of sound combination of B. In English they say buy, so I will take one word, buy, pass. Let's take BIL in the two different interpretations. Bin, bean, boon. The last one is a Dutch word. B or B, the B. BIER, in this case the Dutch word. BILD, a German word, and BILD as association with the English word. But how shall we associate the E in combination with the B? The B, we already have a certain structure. The structure actually reflects that something is extending, and it's extending from within, and it is enlarging. It's enlarging itself. The E is an insertion that makes it work better, that makes it that gives it an extension, gives it more possibilities. It's one of the last letters that in the order of the technical complexity of order that I have based upon a numerical order, so I have explanations in it. So where can I add it? Only, of course, where something is happening in the B. So you have, it starts from somewhere in the middle, or it is extending. So there are only two places where you can have the insertions, vertical or more or less a little bit more diagonal, depending on what other letters they are, because the letters depend a little bit on each other, how you connect them together. That is also described in the book. So let's see what we can do. But in English, okay, they have an extra letter, the E. We also associate with the E, and it's written with the E, like this. If it's written with the E. So the E can also be associated in the width of the whole range of what is extending. The B is extending, the E is insertion, so with the E, with the double E, will be this kind of range. That's how we can use it in words. Well, let's take some examples, but start from the B itself. If I would combine the B with the E is just one insertion, and or going out or going in, it doesn't matter. The B is always starting from a point where it is already two different things. So the number 2, the E is always insertion of just one thing. It's a number 1, so it's from 2 to 1, but there's an extension. So this extension is just temporal, and that's why this form is a little bit strange, but it can be used, and it is useful to use this form to express it very well. It is also used, so you can see also that the directions that you have go towards 1, start from 2, but goes towards 1, but there is an extension, a temporal enlargement, and temporal extension. That's something you can associate from here. You can also already associate from here. It will be useful, as you will be noticing soon in the examples. It reminds me a little bit of the hard form, but also a little bit of an apple. Let's just compare apple just quickly. The apple is of course different. The A is the round form. The A is always starting from a round center kind of form. The P is pressed out. 2 times the P is the pressed out of the pressed out. With the L it is giving it a form. So that means that the outer form of A is a little bit enlarged and it gives you the form of the apple. It is just about the form, the way how it grows. Nothing more than that. Just a side example to give you a realization of this. But I was talking about B. So let's go from B and go first to the English explanation, pronunciation of BIE. So BIE. B is, we know that B means or refers to 2. So the B is always a combination of 2. As you saw before, it was a temporal connection with 2 directions, but going towards 1 or within 1. So the B is a combination. BIE is a little bit slightly different as association. You have the BA here. The BA is combining the B, the expression of extension, with the long A. You have the BA, just the A, the long A. You have to have the doubled A, and the BIE, the Y. I have here an extra surrounding with which I can bypass. Indeed, I can bypass the region. Just I have this. It's just an example, nothing more than that, but it's a good expression of this bypass of the and expressed by BIE. I have the bay you have here as well. I almost recognize this here. I have here the Bay Area. The first thing I found with the Bay Area is the bridge. You have these again bridging, very contemporary, coincidental example. Nevertheless, sounds and sound letter combinations are meant to be meaningful if you recognize how they are formed and if you know the method how to be formed. And you have the bay there as well. It is fitting within range of these letter combinations. Just let it go if you don't grasp it immediately. The other examples are more easy. But I was going to to the B words. The first word I have is BIL. It's the Dutch word. BIL means buttock. It's a ham. It actually comes down to the upper leg. That more than that is. So the B is again, the B is giving it a really thicker, better, more juicy form. If BIL with a double L, the L is getting it more physicality, even from within. So even from what is, yeah, it gives you a certain pressure within. So the BIL is something that is pressed in a container and yeah, a lot of things come together. I had these words before. But it's just an example of how the forms are. You can see the BIL, and you can see the BIL with a double L again, doubling its everything from within as well. Just like with BIL I had before. Let's go to BIN. The N is the content which is inserted inside. That's always with the N. So it's inserted inside. The E is inserting and the B is extending. Here the extension is going inwards. Compared to BEAN and BEAN. It's almost the same thing, but there are differences. The BIN we know it from the English word, the bin. It is the rubbish that you throw away. It's actually everything which hasn't grown, like the bee, the grown, which hasn't grown. So you go inwardly and you see what has been left there, which has not been grown or you can't use. That's how you use the bin. You just put it in what is not grown yet. Or in the German word, bin, ich bin, it is still referring to what you, it's the minimalization of what you have, what it has been grown, what is grown from within. It more has a feeling of the remains of what you already surely have inside. Not negative or not positive, it doesn't matter, but it's what you have collected so far. Bin is also what you have collected so far, but it's also in the past. Bin is the same word, it has the same form, but it is written as a instead of double A. The A is the width, a certain width, the a is a certain width and a round form, let's say, a center form, and the E, of course, you can see them. It is as if where we have this form of bin, from bin with a double A, it is extended with a certain physicality, with a certain references in time in the background, because you don't express it, the EA, but it gives an association, coincidence on it, an association that this is now this time about a physical object, that there are references that can be associated as a structure, as a form in a spatial frame, so you can have them as a physical object as well. This is how it is being used. We're not going too deep into it, but the Dutch word also has the same form, of course, the bean, the boon. It also only uses the O. Does that make much of a difference? No, it doesn't. The O is referring always to spaces where something can be inserted, so where a process can be arranged. And this is, of course, where the process of growing further from the bean, it will grow further in these spots. It will sprout, of course, from there. Let's go from bean, all the beans, to the bite and the bit, of course. The T is always reference to a very small space, as small as possible, so a point in space. It is a reference point where you say, okay, here I have a distinction. I'm sure this is the distinction. So it is, of course, in the form of the extension, the B. The T is as small as possible, and then you have the insertion. So the bit is as small as possible. The element which the smallest element possible of the extension. The byte, you have the A. It is a bit different. So they still have the pointing at the space, and you go to it, you have the reference point, you go to it, but we have an I, so you have a certain extension from there. Of course, the byte is used to take out this extension as well, to get this focus of attention towards this specific space where you put something out of it. It's not in the word that you break something in it, but you have a reference point which is different, which is inside, and you know where it is, and it has a certain width, a certain width. That's more or less what it describes. And a very good example of it is the Apple logo, of course, and you have some other examples as well. Next one, the next word is big. Big, of course, needs the G. The G is always into the large circle and the edges of this large circle, and the extensions goes towards the large circle. So it goes to the maximum, the maximizing. And if I look up something on the internet, that I think I want to show you as what is a very good example of BIG. You have, of course, Martina BIG. Martina BIG is the best of all the extensions, also in the personality. I mean, some people think, okay, this crossed the line. This is no longer possible. So she's even black nowadays. This crossed the line. This is our world and not their world. No, big in the biggest sense of the world is actually no longer attached to whatever it needs. It's as large, as big as ever, whatever you want. It gives me a very big laugh. I like it. Let's go to BIER. Now, BIER I already had before with the A, but here it is with the E. So let's extend. So I have the B from one side here with the R's, the connection points, and the insertions towards the connection points. It is the expression as you could have it. Let's extend it. Extend it even more until we have we can see that the E's the connection points are so close together. It is close to the E sound, which is two impulses closely working together, and there we have it. We have the closely working together area in full expression. Now finally we can brew the beer, and the beer gradually gets the bubbles out of it. That's actually what it is. It is the beer, you already expressed it, is the brewery. It's the brewery that makes it so. It is more and more connections of chemical, whatever processes are there, are inserted and coming out, and once it's coming out you have also this foam and a good tasty beer. Another thing also from Germany and also from Belgium that I like very much, as long as it is good and strong beer, then I like it. Strong and big strong. Here I have also a German word again. I have a BILD. I had the impression like, oh, it's maybe a good idea to have another example of the B with the E inserted from the B. And why is it so? Because I also have to have the L. The L is a two-dimensional frame. So I have also with the B two-dimensional frames. So I will go from one frame to the next frame via this insertion. So they I connect them easy. It's easier to connect them. And even if I put the full frame of the two-dimensional frame of the L separately, put a T in it as a reference point that I want to distinct myself into something, it is actually the frame going from one frame to another frame, pressed in, pressed out. It's give me a reflection. It is about reflection. BILD means image and it means reflection. If I then put it horizontal, it's even more clear. Yes, it was a very good idea to have it the E at that space. Now they're going down, so as the E is better to express it, and you can also see it better. The BILD is a reflection, and the full reflection, that is what the BILD is about. I think this is a good expression of BILD, and in BILD is expressed with the correct letters and letter associations and correct puzzle pieces, as I always use them. And but go over to B again. So from B to B with the is still something you will need. And actually, if I have the B and attach it to the and enlarge it in the width and give it an extra physical appearance there at the points where I can attach something, it is the beat. It is have a beetle. it's a quickly made association that shows you almost like this is what the beetle looks like indeed. Another thing that you can associate with B is of course what I said, it's the width of the extension, the full width of the extension. Now if I only see this and I have the full picture, the full presentation, everything what is extending, and I follow this, it's the 2B. It's the full being. What is the be? What makes up our being? We're growing. It's growing. Let it grow. Let it go to its full perspective, whatever it is, unattached. Just be. Just be. The B itself, if I would like to press it out even more with more variations, I will get again more and more to the B, the B. The B itself also is like in life, it participates and it finds all these insertions to extend further and further and makes more connections in its way. It's actually the perfect being for that. And let it flow, let it go, like be a being, let it grow. And I will give, if you can, then I can also say goodbye to you with this little creature, Martina B. Thanks again for watching. This was Gerald Johan van Waas. There's a website too, where you have a list of the explained words. And if you subscribe to the YouTube channel, you can also get more instructions, more demonstration. I hope I can have these kinds of videos into a next book, which will be called I think it will be called The Praxis of the Word. These are the first preparations to go there, so that you can learn to see examples, how it works and so on, how this theory works in reality. And that is my investigation, and that are my investigations directly for you in videos on YouTube. Thank you very much for watching. Bye bye.